Hey guys, Charlie Murphy here. Thanks for choosing my video. Playing a session of 1-2 no limit 6 max games here on Bovada. Got the tables up and running, so I'm going to jump right into the action. Table 3, recreational player open limps. I isolate from the button with ace 10. Big blind calls. Limper comes along as well. Multi-way on the king 7-3 two-tone board. I'm not going to range bet. We'll go ahead and check back. Turn an offsuit 6. Probably no reason to start bluffing here with the ace 10 unless I just think they're folding way too much. It left some showdown value. Not a whole lot in the way of semi-bluffs. Semi-bluff potential with this particular hand. Of course, I've got various draws that could start betting on the turn. Hands like 8-9. Against that river lead there. Multi-way. Interesting. Think about that for a minute. I think I should fold that. Table 4, open ace 7 suited from the button. Flop top and bottom pair, ace 10 7 two-tone. Gonna put in a small continuation bet. Big blind check calls. Not the ideal turn card for me. Closes a flush and completes Broadway, the king of clubs. I'm going to go ahead and check back this 2 pair, looking to value better, value raise rivers, depending on what kind of size he uses against me. Table 2, recreational player limps. I complete my small blind with ace deuce suited, flop top pair, ace king 8. Recreational player stabs half pot. I'll check call. Face an overbet over here with the 2 pair. No reason to raise that overbet here on table 4 with that straights and flushes possible. You just can go ahead and call. Lose to 8-9, that river to straight, but that's all right. Good turn card for me against the wreck over here on table 2, giving me trip aces, no kicker. Going to go ahead and continue check calling. Check call. Pretty much any bet on the river. If I hit the deuce for the full house, it'd be check jamming. Bets pot, just go ahead and check call off. He backs into a flush. That's life in the big city, I suppose. Table 2, opening deuces from the button. My open gets 3-bet by the small blind. It's a very loose formation. I can go ahead and defend my pocket pairs here. So I'm going to go ahead and call with the deuces and take a flop. Table 1, squeeze opportunity with the recreational player in the button. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze my jacks in the big blind. Wanting to go with them here against the cutoff and the formation this loose. Cutoff flat calls. As does the recreational player position. Interesting board, 9-8-7 two-tone. I'm going to go ahead and check a board like this out of position to 2 players. The jacks are doing pretty well here, though. Going to be, would love for one of these guys to open the action and give me a chance to just jam the money in here. He just jams the money in for me. Going with my jacks against the fish. Against 2 pair 9s and 7s. Not going so well for me ever since I started recording. Solid play, though. Table 2, up an ace 5 from the cutoff. Kind of loose, but I have a whale in the big blind, so I think that's going to be okay. Flop top pair weak kicker on ace king queen two-tone. I'm going to go ahead and check. On that flush closing turn, so many bad rivers, not many really not a whole lot in the way of good rivers. Aces and 5s are decent. I'm actually just going to go ahead and fold this one. Table 4, I got Jack 9 in the cutoff, kind of loose, but I have a weak player still left to act, so I'm going to go ahead and open my loose opens. Big blind calls, got a low 4-3 deuce two-tone board. I am going to continuation bet, but use a little bit bigger size on that particular board here. We'll go half pot. Get called. Turn is the 9. I'm going to continue barreling on this particular card. I think we'll go ahead and use a 3/4 size. When you continue barreling with my decent top pair, can get value from all kinds of pairs, low pairs, pair plus draws. Great River giving me 2 pair, jacks and 9s. I think I follow through with a 3rd bet. I don't think I want to overbet this, though. I think I could be jamming like my sets and my flop straights here and my weaker value, like top 2 pair. This one's pretty close, but I think I just like a more medium-sized bet here. Table 1, limped pot. My big blind gets to check in for free with Jack 7. I got top pair on 7-3-3 that checks around. 5 of clubs on the turn. Puts a second flush draw up there. Min bet from the big blind. I'll just go ahead and call that. Planning to call rivers in most cases. Table 1, going to open 8s from middle position. It checks. I think I'll just take the showdown here. In the triple hand with Jack 9, I got called by Queen 4 of hearts, who just did not believe me. Table 1, I get 3-bet from the small blind, and the whale cold calls the 3-bet, which makes me more inclined to call with a hand like this. I can call pocket 8s in this spot anyway. Definitely going to call it with the whale out there. 9-8-7, this same board as last time with this character. This time it smacks me right in the face, middle set with pocket 8s. Not the nuts by any means, but pretty damn strong. Recreational player bets half pot. Can decide if I should just flat this or jam it. I kind of don't want this guy to get a chance to get scared away on scare cards. So I think I'm going to kind of exploitively jam here and force him to call off anything that he remotely likes. Not force my hand to have to fold on all the bad cards and put 4 straights out there. Oh, and I overset him. That is really rough for him. But good for me. Got a recreational player limps, isolation raise from middle position over here on table 2 up at ace queen in the button, so the price of poker is going to be going up here. Stack off against the jam from this guy with queens plus ace king, but definitely mix in a few wider 3-bets than that. Hands like ace queen are pretty clear and to do it with. Table 4, button opens. I 3-bet ace king in the small blind, very standard. Table 2, opening queens from middle position. Got called by both blinds, both very likely to be whales. One of them confirmed, the other guy's got limps in a short stack. I think that's pretty safe. Unfortunately, not the ideal board for queens. Ace, 10, 9, rainbow. I'm going to go ahead and check back my queens, keep this pot smaller, under-rip my hand, give them a chance to bluff into me, maybe find that 3rd queen. Check back again. Only real bad card for me is a king. I guess spades aren't great, but I'm not that worried about them. Checks to the river. I'm going to go ahead and try to get called by a 10 and 9, whatever. Table 3, got a limper, open limper. I complete the small blind with 9-8 suited. Table 2, going to open ace king in middle position. Games look excellent right now. Table 1, jack 4-3, checks around. Turn is a 3, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. I'm just going to start bluffing, stabbing, as I don't think that board's hit these guys. They're recreational players with pretty loose, weak ranges. I'm going to follow through on the river, just try to fold out busted draws. Not expecting to fold anything better, but Can't win by checking, and I can definitely pick up folds. Table 2, my ace-king faces a re-raise from the cutoff player. I'm going to go ahead and put in a 4-bet and plan to call off here. Four bet queens plus ace king. Mix in some bluffs like ace queen offsuit, maybe some wheel aces like ace 5, ace 4 suited, maybe a couple of suited Broadway cards I don't want to call with. Hands like ace 10, king 10 could be in the mix. Those are the kind of candidates you want to be considering there as potential 4-bet bluffs. Good removal to the jams or the calls. Will mostly play pretty well if you have to take a flop. Hands that can flop an ace or maybe a king for top pair. So you've got an overcard to pairs that call. Suited cards that can flop flush draws or straight draws, ideally both. Ace queen offsuit can't flop the flush draws, but it does have great removal to the continue range. It does do okay post flop as well if you can make top pair or a Broadway draw. Table 2, limped pot, checks around on the flop. I stab the turn with my top pair. I'm going to go ahead and try to get a second street of value here with my weak top pair. Table 1, opening king, queen from the button. Recreational player calls in the small blind. Big blind comes along as well. Ace, jack, 5, two-tone, no relevant backdoor suit in my hand with no heart, but do have a gut shot. I think I'll go ahead and check this one back multi-way. If I'm going to bet some of them, I prioritize the ones with at least one heart, or perhaps king, queen of spades. Table 1, it checks around. Turn is the board pairing, flush closing 5 of hearts. We get a 3/4 lead and then a raise from the big blind. I am going to get out of the way of that one with king high. Recreational player open limps. He gets isolated by the cutoff. I've got ace 10 on the button. This one's going to be a little bit dicier to 3, but I think that one's getting to be a bit too loose, so let that one go. If it was suited, I'd be in there with the ace 10. I think the ace 10 offsuit's just going to start giving me too many combos that I'm playing back with. Exposing me to calling and playing against me with a solid range post-flop, or just 4-betting me pre-flop and making me fold too often. Table 4, blind down blind, open in pocket sixes. Table 2, open ace 9 from middle position. Get called blind down blind on table 2. Gonna check here against the short stack with pocket sixes. Just try to keep this pot smaller, moving towards showdown. He goes ahead and puts in about a 40% or so stab. I'm gonna go ahead and check call with the sixes at least once. Interesting turn card, the 7, giving me a bit more equity, giving me that gut shot. He blasts again, but for half pot. I'm not really folding to short stack players for small bet sizes like that. River is a 5, giving me the 4 straight, but does close the flush. He quickly checks back, and my straight is good. I outdrew king 8, so he was getting some thin value with an excessively merged second pair type hand there. Just the risk of calling down the small bets against fish that light, but I think it's going to be okay. I open ace queen. He goes ahead and jams on me for 30 blinds. It could be a tilt jam after that last hand. I think I'm pretty strong. We're not risking that much. I'm going to call off here. King jack, caught the tilt jam. He does outflop me, but I could still outrun him, and I did get the money in good. I do outrun him on the river. Thank you for playing. Opening King 10 on table 4. Whaley recreational player opens to 3. I've got pocket 8s. I don't love 3-betting these and having to fold if he jams. I also don't love raising and calling off. I've got a recreational player behind me and a nitty type reg. I think it's going to be okay to just go ahead and flat even against that 3x open. Small blind rec comes along. Decent flop for me. 10-7-4 two-tone. I've got second pair, plus I do have that flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and stab small. I think I'll benefit there against these wrecks by folding out hands like King Jack, no diamond. If I get another diamond like they're the ace of diamonds, I can keep the pot small and try to check down. I could even be out drawing hands that had me beat, like hands like King 10, no diamond. Now, he goes ahead and leads. He leads pretty big. Wonder if he's bluffing on 4 flush turn. In general, it's not good to fold the fish. Four flush turn is very under bluff from fish. I think I will go ahead and that one go, especially in conjunction with the size up. Middle position player opens on table 1. In the cutoff with King 9, so that one's a little bit loose to 3-bet. Kinda nitty. It's the recreational player. I think I would go after him. Min open for middle position on table 2. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet my cutoff with pocket 10s. Recreational player cold calls. The RFI player folds. Interesting board. King 10-9, not ideal for me, but I do have the diamond on a monotone board. Given that he's short, I've got showdown value, and diamonds aren't too bad either, but I don't want to get raised. I'm going to go ahead and check this one back. Turn is a jack, another overcard to my 10s that I don't love, but he keeps checking, so I'm going to keep checking as well. Look for a straight completer for me, another diamond. None of those things happen, but he keeps checking. I'm going to try to showdown. I showdown against pocket 5s with the diamond. My hand is good. Table 2, up an ace-queen suited from middle position. Short stack recreational player calls me on the button. I'm just going to check to him with ace-queen. Turn is a great card for me. It does close the flush, the queen of spades, but gives me top pair, top kicker. Not going to be that worried. He's got a flush here. I'm just going to try to get some money off the guy. He goes ahead and calls my 3/4 lead. Interesting river, the 10. I no longer can get value from 10s because they beat me. In board pairing cards are a card fish love to bluff. I think there's going to be merit in just checking and calling bluffs here, or checking down against busted one card spade draws there. I think that hand was pretty well played. This is a little out of line just because we're short, but I think it's going to be okay with a hand like this just because I can flop top pair and go with it. Wouldn't want to do that there with a hand like 7-6 suited against the half-stack fish player when I'm going to be out of position, but I think a hand like King Queen is going to be okay. This table doesn't look particularly good, but we'll give it a whirl. Give it an orbit or two and see. You have one guy with a slightly broken stack. Table 3, limp pot. I checked in my big blind. It checked around on 10-9 deuce. Turn is a board pairing card. The 10, I'm just going to start bluffing this guy, thinking he's got all kinds of wide nonsense that we'll have to fold. Cutoff opens on table 3, or table 1 rather, I'm sorry. I am in the button with 7-6 suited. That one is probably an optional hand. I don't really think I need to 3-bet it. You can, but I'm going to go ahead and fold it and just prioritize higher cards like suited broadways, 10-9 suited, that sort of stuff here against a reg. Against a fish, I just go after him. New table 4, blind on blind, open in Jack 10. Big blind calls, got an ace jack 4 two-tone board, and go ahead and check my second pair. Interesting turn card, the 10 closes Broadway, puts a second flush draw up there, but does give me a decent 2-pair, second and third pair. I'm going to go ahead and start value betting. Calls. River is a 9. It is a flush closing card. I think I just want a block bet here. Definitely don't want to overbet. I think a block bet's going to be better than checking or even a medium-sized bet. I get raised. I think he's really only repping the rivered flush here, as I think the Broadway straight has been have announced itself earlier. Guess you could have a hand like 8-9 also, but blind on blind never used this fall, but I think it's gonna be okay to bluff catch against the raise here. I kind of like his turning that pair into a bluff there, try to get me to fold a weak ace, thinking I've got a weak ace looking for thin value. I don't mind his play at all. I think it's a pretty reasonable hand to select with there. Could also just call too, but I think his raise is going to be okay. Did he have a spade also? No, he didn't have a spade. It's even better with the king of spades, but that makes that big a difference. Table 1, opening king 10 for middle position. Table 3, opening 8s for middle position. Table 1, I get called by in-position player and the recreational player in the blinds. I'm going to check range between these two guys on ace 10-6 two-tone. Turn is the 10. Board pairing 10 gives me top trip, so I'm going to go ahead and bet that one out now. I think a board like this, I would probably be overbetting or checking even heads up, so I'm just going to size down slightly and go for medium size. Especially with the rec in there, I think medium size is better than small. Just if he's got an ace or a flush draw, I can get more value, exploitably speaking. Table 1, open ace jack under the gun. Table 3, opened ace 10 under the gun. Table 2, got 2 limpers. I isolated out of the blinds with ace king. Gonna check range to the 2 players here and call off against the short guy. And keep checking here. Table 3, I open ace 10 under the gun. Recreational player called in position. Blind calls out of position. King 10-6 checks around. Turn is a board pairing 10. I'm going to go ahead and bet this one out. I'm going to bet a bit smaller here with the second pair. I'm going to keep trying to check down my ace king high over here on table 2. think I can even bluff catch against this guy. He stabs 5. Trivial bluff catch there. Yeah, we good against 5 high. Table 1, button opens. I'm in the small blind with good old ace-jack. That will be a 3-bet. 3-bet ace-jack, ace-10, king-jack, that kind of stuff. Suited broadways, most suited aces, maybe suited 9x. Pocket pairs like pocket 6s or so. Better pocket 6s, pocket 7s, something like that. Table 2, open ace-10 from the cutoff. Recreational player puts in 2.5, leaving his last 5.5 behind. I get top pair, top kicker with the pot size bet left. Let's just put them all in. Table 3, get a middle position opens. I'll 3-bet the button with aces. Recreational player jams 23 blinds on table 1. I'll call my button with pocket 10s. Red calls also. That's a little bit dicey. I'm going to go ahead and check back here on that flop there. The Jack 8-6 two-tone. Turn is a 5. Now, he bets 45. I just feel like this is so strong and is not going to be bluffy at all. I am instantly folding. And he's got pocket 5s. What a nonsensical pre-flop play. Oh, good, though. This new table 4 doesn't seem to have much going on. Gave it an orbit or two. Don't like what I see. Definitely like what I see in the pool as a whole right now, though, so I'm going to keep looking for greener pastures. Table 4, we're going to open 10-6 suited from the button. Table 2, recreational player limps. I'll complete my small blind. Table 4, get an ace, queen, 6 rainbow board. I'll put in a small continuation bet, looking to check back most turns. Table 1, button opens. I don't really flat my small blind here with pocket 3s or really with anything, but I don't want to 3-bet here, and I don't mind calling and giving this guy a chance to come in while I look for the third 3. He doesn't come along, but I do find the third 3. Button does not bet it. Does not see bet the flop and checks back. Turn is the king. I'm going to go ahead and just overbet my bottom set here. If he's got some kind of showdown value or stumbled into a king, want to get as much money in as possible. River is the jack. Let me see here. Do I want to overbet this guy? I don't think I want to check. I just want to overbet here. Beats me into the pot. My hand is good. Table 1, open 8-6 suited from the cutoff. Table 4, I open pocket 9s from what's effectively middle position, and I get 3-bet by the big blind. Couldn't be able to go ahead and defend that one for a call. running good here now, flopping a set in that 3-bet pot. Jack 10-9 rainbow. Guess I don't have the nuts. I lose to bigger sets in hands like King Queen. Table 2, my continuation bet gets called on Ace King 7 two-tone. The turn is a 4. It gives me a gut shot. Now all of a sudden I can continue barreling, so I'm going to go ahead and overbet my gut shot. Against the flop check there with Jack 10-9, I'm going to go ahead and stab out small with my bottom set. Crazy folded with small hand to the small bet. Would have thought a hand like Ace King, Ace Queen would still come along. Table 3, blind on blind, opening Jack 6 suited. Table 2, button opens 2.5x. I am in the small blind with 10-9 suited. We're going to go ahead and put in a 3-bet with that one. Recreational player on 30 blinds cold calls the 3-bet. Not a huge fan of that, but I do like that I flop and open it in a straight draw. King 8-7 two-tone. Much rather just put them all in here and pick up the fold equity that I do have, or just try to outrun them with my draw if I don't hit the draw. If I don't get the fold. Don't get the fold, but I do outrun them with the draw when I river that 6. Opening pocket 4s from the button. Table 2, opening pocket 5s from the cutoff. In the hand where I had the set of 3s out of the small blind, it was against Jack 9 offsuit, where he had a weak Jack that he checked back. His top pair, he defended the turn barrel, overbet, then he rivered trips and called down. Table 1, opening deuces on the button. Table 3, opening Jack 9 suited from middle position. Recreational player calls the small blind, then table 1, and a Queen 6-3 rainbow board. I'll put in a small continuation bet. It's squeezed on table 2, and I will fold my 5s against that. Table 3, I get called by a wreck in position and the big blind. I'm going to check range, sandwich between 2 guys. Not a whole lot going for this hand quite yet on Queen 7-6 rainbow. And the 7 of diamonds putting the backdoor flush draw up there does not help me either. So I'll keep checking with no real equity. If it checks to the river, I can go ahead and try to bluff. I think I'll just go ahead and check fold this hand with virtually 0 equity at this point. Against the stab, in position, stabs for pot. And I am out. Blind down blind, 3x open, I'll fold Queen 6. Not quite good enough to defend. Table 3, recreational player open limps. I'll complete my small blind with ace-6 suited. Table 4, blind on blind, opening King 9. Table 3, the ace-jack 3 board checks around. Turn is the 8, putting the backdoor flush draw up there. I'll go ahead and bet out with my weak ace here now. Weak top pair. Table 4, blind down blind, face a standard 3x open. I will go ahead and 3-bet my 8-7 suited. Table 1, blind down blind, opening king 6 suited. Flop weak top pair, king 10 3 rainbow. Going to go ahead and check to the big blind. He stabs a little less than half pot. Just go ahead and check call. Turn is a board pairing card, the 3. Continue checking. River double pairs the board, the 10. Definitely going to go ahead and check that one. I don't really get called by much worse, but he can have all kinds of air balls that still decide to stab. Table 3, I open the king queen under the gun. The big blind calls and checks to me on king 10 5 rainbow. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Face a small check raise. Go ahead and call with my strong top pair. Table 2, min open from middle position. I don't flat a ton, but against the min open with this whale behind me in deep stack, this is a good spot to try to lure him in. Table 3, the big blind doesn't continue. He goes ahead and checks on the 10. I'm going to go ahead and check back. Not that worried about too many cards. I'm going to go ahead and see the river. River is the 9. I guess his queen jack does get there, or if he was trapping with something like king 10 or 5s on the turn, he had me all along. Other than that, I don't seem to be in too bad of shape here. He goes ahead and bets 3/4. I think there's nothing to do but just go ahead and call down here. I'm against 4-3. Gets squeezed. I've got a strong hand against a guy who's shown some weird tendencies pre-flop. And we're deep. It's not a strong hand, but a hand that can flop a very strong hand while we're deep. I'm going to go ahead and call that squeeze and look for the third 5. Don't find that he bets out half pot. I'll go ahead and fold. Get a recreational player limps, isolation to 3.5. Trying to think if I want to 3-bet this one or not. I think it's pretty close. I want to go broke with queens plus ace king. I think this one's just outside of where I want to be. Pretty close, though. Not a big deal one way or the other. Open 9s in middle position on table 1. Get called in position by a rec and by both blinds. Queen 7-3 two-tone board. Gonna check. Just keep this pot smaller if I can. Min open from under the gun on table 2. Gonna 3-bet my small blind with the pocket 9s. Table 1 in position rec stabs about a 1/4 pot. The big blind calls. I'll also call with pocket 9s. My 3-bet on table 2 gets jammed over the top. I'll let the 9s go. Another small stab. I don't love the flush closing turn. Still feels a little bit too good to fold here just because these guys can be doing that with worse for those small sizes. River is a 3. Not the best card in the world, but not the worst. Would love to check this one down. Table 2 opening jack 10 from middle position, or cutoff rather. Table 3, I open ace queen or fishy player calls me with the small blind. I flop top pair second kicker on ace 10-7. I'm gonna go ahead and start sizing up with my strong but vulnerable hand here. Get some money in now while my hand is good. Turn is a king, not too bad a card for me. Was already losing to ace king if he were to have flatted with it. Now he goes ahead and stabs one more time. think against the fish that's stabbing like that for the small size, I've just got to kind of call him. I don't think I'm good a lot here. I think the price is too good to fold. And I pick off King 10. That's why you don't overthink it when you're getting good odds against a fish. Just don't give these guys credit. Do I want to be barreling on that particular card? I think I'll check that one back. River gives me the nuts now, so that's a good card for me, obviously. Head and just blast pot for value here. And that 4-liner board. Open Queen Jack suited from the button on table 1. Table 3, recreational player open limp, so I'll complete my small blind with ace 8. Get a King 7-7 board on table 1. I'll put in a small continuation bet against the rec. He doesn't fold. Turn is a 3 of spades. Put in a second flush draw up there. I'll go ahead and check back my Queen Jack. I'm looking to bet more with more equity. Basically flush draws. I guess I could have hands like 4-5, 4-6 for some straight draws too. Queen Jack, I'll just go ahead and check back. And make a pair that I can bluff catch with on the river. Can reopen the river as a bluff if he checks to me again. And maybe even think about bluff raising a fish here if he uses a small size. Doesn't, but I'm going to go ahead and try to fold him off either a weaker pair or an ace. I think I need to use a bigger size here, though. I'm going to go ahead and use the overbet size in this particular spot. Instantly folds. Table 2, middle position opens. 3-bet the button with ace-king. Table 3, min raise, small blind 3-bets, some in the big blind with king queen. This is a cold 4-bet or fold spot, and I will not be cold 4-betting king queen offsuit. Suited variety I would be, but the offsuit variety I think just needs to be laid down. Queen, deuce, deuce, rainbow on table 2. Checks to me, I'll go ahead and put in a continuation bet. Interesting barreling combo here in that I've got overcards to any kind of queen that calls me, and also great removal to hands like ace queen, king queen, his best call downs. And put a ton of pressure on mid pocket pairs that will definitely not fold the flop. Check calls. Turn is the 8. I think I do want to keep barreling here. Obviously, he can have eights full now. That's a very reasonable hand to have played the way he's played thus far. I think we just go with the plan to barrel off here. And he did hit the eights, so my plan was good, and they even recognized he could have hit that eight. He could also have other hands like pocket nines, whatever, that have to fold at some point. Table 1, button opens. I'll 3-bet the small blind with pocket sixes. Table 3, opening queen 10 from the button. Table 3, opening jack 9 from the cutoff. Slightly loose, but getting a little wild here. A little wild, a little out of control with this recreational player, whale type guy in the blinds. Table 3, blind on blind, facing a standard 3x open, 3-betting with ace-queen suited. Comes along and calls. Great flop for me. Ace, queen, 7, two-tone. I'll go ahead and put in a continuation bet. He comes along and calls. Turn is the blank of all blanks, the offsuit deuce. Going to go ahead and continue barreling here. Use a 3/4 size, set up about a roughly pot-sized river jam. Assuming I don't particularly hate the river card. Table 1, opening ace-5 suited from middle position. Small blind player calls. Weird play from a player that's been a reg-type profile through the first couple orbits. Get an ace-7-6 two-tone board. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Table 3, I'm going to complete the small blind after the rec open limps with my 9-8. Table 4, going to open 6-5 suited in the cutoff. Table 4, opening threes from middle position. Table 1, going to open 8-7 blind down blind. This one's kind of on the cusp. I think against a fishy player, it's a good move. Against a reg, especially an aggressive reg, I might slide the other way with it. Table 4, opening king 10 suited under the gun. Table 1, I've got 5-4 suited on the button. The kind of hand that plays all right is a call, and we do have a wreck behind me. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to take a flop, see if I can bait this guy into coming along. Table 4, my under the gun open with king 10 suited faces a 3-bet. I'll just go ahead and continue for a call here. Turn to gut shot after the king 9-3 rainbow, or two-tone rather, checks around. Turn is the ace, the offsuit ace. I have a gut shot. He leads out small, which does not signify strength to me in any way, shape, or form. Then this guy comes along and flat calls. I'm going to go ahead and put a move on these guys. Going to go ahead and put in a check raise on table 4 and the ace 8-7 rainbow board. I've got some backdoor draws here that I can continue with on the turn. And both my moves work there. Table 1, blind down blind, open ace-5 suited. Hit a 10-8-4 rainbow board. I'll go ahead and check. He checks back. Turn is a 3. He puts a backdoor flush drop there, of which I don't have, but it does give me the gut shot. I'm going to go ahead and start bluffing out here now against the wreck. Planning to follow through on the river as well. Could also overbet, but I think if I overbet the turn, I'm probably going to give up the river against the wreck. With the medium-sized turn lead, I'm going to go ahead and follow through on the river. Table 1, opening king jack suited from the button. Big blind comes along, 10-10-5 rainbow. Going to go ahead and continuation bet for a small size. Hit check call. Turn is the 7 of hearts. Puts a backdoor flush drop there, not the one I have. I do have overcards. You could barrel them to some extent. I think the better suits to barrel are going to be obviously with either hearts in the hand or spades. Hearts obviously block flush draws, and spades, unblock the, spades would not block the backdoor flush draws that float the flop and then fold the turn. I think I'll check this one back. And there's a smidge of showdown value here, and I just don't know that I really get pocket pairs or like ace-x to fold that much. I'm going to take the showdown here on that low paired board. Blind on blind, table 2, going to open queen deuce suited. Player has been very loose, passive, goes aheads and opens for 5x. I've got pocket 8, so I think I still need to call there, but very weird because of the pre-flop size up already. I'm going to be cautious here. Hit a low 6 deuce deuce rainbow board. He bets half pot, so I'll check call there. Turn is an ace, not the card I was hoping to see, but he doesn't seem too keen on it either and quickly checks back. I'll check again, try to show down my 8s. He bets 5 into 20 for a quarter pot bet, trivial call. And he rivered a boat with pocket 10. So his size up pre-flop does in fact signify strength. Reasonable conclusion based on his tendencies over a gargantuan, for purposes of Bovada, a 100 head sample size. Table 2, open ace queen from the cutoff. Table 1, open an ace 8 suited from the button. Big blind calls me on table 1, checks to me. I'll continuation bet small on ace 6 deuce, or ace 6 deuce two tone. Table 2, I get called by imposition player on king 8-6 rainbow. I will check to him. Table 1, rather, opening ace 7 suited from the cutoff. Board checks around on table 2, and we get a queen of clubs putting a backdoor flush draw up to give me a second pair. I think I'll keep this in the checking range, looking to check call or bet the river for value if it checks through. He stabs about 3/4. I check call, continue checking. River is a 5. He checks down. Already getting a wreck vibe off this guy. Let's see what hand he played. He had ace 7 suited. Not completely convinced he's a fish, but definitely going to keep an eye on that as my spidey sense is tingling. Table 3, going to open ace 7 from the cutoff, open and loose to go after the recreational player in the blinds. Don't get a call from him, but I do get a call from the big blind. King, Jack, 9, rainbow. He checks to me. I'll go ahead and continuation bet small. He check calls. Turn is a 4 of clubs. That card does not really change the tenor of the board at all, and it does put a backdoor flush draw up there, of which I have the, not the draw itself, but the future blocker. I am going to go ahead and use an overbet or check size on this board, be overbetting my sets and straights, and I think King Jack, maybe the weaker 2 pairs I would check back. Could arguably get some 1 pair hands with blockers in there, like King Queen, but I think that's also a fine check back. And I'm going to have some draws and draws to future, future blocker type hands with the ace of clubs and be in the overbet line. I can go ahead and just jam off here on a club river. Open pocket kings from the cutoff on table 1. I get 3-bet by the small blind. Going to go ahead and put in a 4-bet and stack off with pocket kings. Opening king jack from middle position on table 3. My 4-bet gets called on table 1. I'm going to go ahead and put in a quarter-size continuation bet and jam, call off against the jam. Don't love the queen. Pocket queens just got there. Trying to decide if it's better to go ahead and bet or check. I think the aces are going to make a better check back hand here than the kings. I think kings do benefit from betting. I think maybe jam might be the move. I can also jam with some ace-x type hands that are just trying to scare people away. I mean, I can also have flush draws with some of my pre-flop 4-bet bluffs. I think we just jam this one in. Got a dead blind poster on table 1. Going to open king jack under the gun. Go slightly bigger because of that dead blind. Dead poster, whatever you want to call him. Poster calls, in position player calls. I flop top pair and a gut shot on queen jack 9 two-tone. I'm going to check range out of position to both players. I was hoping for that guy to stab so I could just put the money in. In position player stabs instead. He stabs half pot. check call my top pair and my gut shot. No reason to raise against that guy. Turn is the 8. I'll continue checking. Again, would love that guy to open the action for me, but he does not comply. Checks around. River is the 7. I think I just want to go ahead and value bet. Try to put the rest in against that guy if he, gladly put the last couple blinds in if he puts the rest in himself. Hoping to get called by something nonsensical from this guy. Recreational player open limps the cutoff on table 3. I'm in the button with ace deuce. I don't need to isolate all my offsuit aces. I think I'll let that one go. Table 4, blind on blind, face a standard 3x open. I've got 7-6, the offsuit variety. It can defend with the offsuit connectors here, blind on blind. We'll take the flop. Flop second pair on 10-6-4, two-tone. Goes in continuation, bets half pot. Call with my second pair. Turn is the board pairing 10. He checks, so I'm going to go ahead and check back. River is the board tripping 10, giving me a full house. Actually, I can gladly bluff catcher value bet on this card now. Get called by ace high or pick off bluffs from all his random unpaired high cards. He checks. Blast pot for value here. Try to get called by a suspicious ace high. Recreational player open limps under the gun on table 2. I'm going to isolate the cutoff with 4s. Folds to the limper who limp calls. Get a 10-9-3 rainbow board. I'll put in a small continuation bet here. Happy to fold him off on paired overcards with 6 clear outs against my 4s. Board's still not too bad on that 10-9-3 now deuce backdoor flush draw turn card. He goes ahead and donk leads for the minimum for 1. Obviously not folding for that. I don't think there's too much merit in raising. I don't really fold him off a lot of 9x or 10x. So I think I'll just go ahead, call, play the river. Hope to show it down as cheap as possible. He leads for 3. Trivial call for that price, even though I'm usually beat. I'm against a 10. Fine with the way that played out, though. Table 4, open ace 5 from the cutoff. I'm sorry, from the button. Table 4, going to open jack 9 from the cutoff. Slightly loose, but going after a recreational player in the blinds. Will let me see the flop too often, make big post flop mistakes. Big blind comes along, checks to me, ace 8-4 two-tone. I'll put in a small continuation bet here. 10 is probably the best card for barreling. 10 is the best card for barreling, as it would give me the most equity, give me the opening straight draw. Gonna open queen 10 from middle position on table 4, slightly loose, but again, weak players out there, so I want to be involved a bit more often. But not against a 3-bet from the in position player. A hand like queen 10 goes straight to the muck. The big blind with Jack 8 suited on table 4. I'm facing a 2.5x open from the button. This one's kind of close, but I like to go ahead and use it as a 3-bet. Just don't fold it. You can call it or you can 3-bet it. Either way is going to be fine as long as you play it. Table 3, blind on blind, opening 9-7 suited. Table 3, I'm opening Ace-7 suited from the cutoff. Table 1, gonna open King-9 from the cutoff. Slightly loose, but going after the weaker players. Table 3, opening 7-6 suited from middle position. Again, a little on the loose side, but got a player I'm going after. 3-bet opportunity on table 2. I face a min open from middle position. I'm in the button with Queen-10 suited. I'm going to go ahead and put in the 3-bet there. In table 4, I open King-Deuce suited from the cutoff. Flop a flush draw and an overcard on 8-5-4 two-tone. Given that he's short and the board is very coordinate, I think I'm going to go ahead and check this one back. Table 1, opening queens from under the gun. Table 4, he continues checking on the jack turn, so now I'm going to go ahead and start betting. Table 1, my queens face a 3-bet from the in-position player, a 3.5x size 3-bet, a little bit bigger than average, but pretty reasonable size. Pretty close to what I would do, actually. Get a cold 4-bet here, and I was going to flat the 3-bet and play the flop in this formation. Given that we're facing a cold 4-bet here in a very, very tight formation under the gun open, I think it's going to be okay. Go ahead and actually fold. Going to want to jam kings, aces, ace-king suited. Ace-king offsuit could go either way in this spot. I think queens just becomes a fold. Not worry about anybody getting over on me by doing that. I'm against aces and kings. Dodge bullets, baby. Dodging bullets. Table 4, blind on blind, opening ace 3. Table 4, opening King 10. Table 3, the button opens 2.5x. I am in the small blind with Ace 4 suited. Going to go ahead and 3-bet that. Table 4, get a Jack 10 Deuce two-tone board. We're going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Table 1, open an Ace King from middle position. On table 4, my continuation bet gets check raised small. The fact that I'm from the small blind here has me already a little bit suspicious. This is a reg type player calling from the small blind, but he's really repping deuces here or nothing. I'm gonna fold against that second barrel over there. In the 4-bet pot, I continuation bet small on the ace high board. Turn is the jack. I'm gonna go ahead and check back. Try to get him to bluff with whatever, or just induce under rep my hand. He leads. I'm just gonna call off, worried about pocket jacks, or he flopped the set of nines. It's the way it goes sometimes. I think my pre-flop play is just fine, even the 4-bet was kind of small. Table 1, open pocket 8s under the gun. It's squeezed here. I mean, this guy's got 20 blinds left. I don't think I need to give this guy credit, and the player behind me is also not really worthy of being too concerning, given that he's so fishy. Just getting in against the short stack. Racing against ace 10. And I outrun him. Rec limps, check in with 8-9, flop open into straight draw, 10-7-7 two-tone. I'm going to check range here out of the big blind. He stabs for the minimum. I'll check call. Don't need to start getting too aggressive check raising draws and limp pots against Rex. He bets 1. I'm going to call again. River is a 3. I'm just going to continue checking, give up my 9 high, rather than start trying to have donk bluffs. I'm also not going to check raise fish when they're in position, even though the small size does make it tempting. Table 4, opening pocket 8s, blind on blind. Get a 10-4 deuce two-tone board and go ahead and check, plenty to check call. Checks through, turn is a 10, putting a second flush draw up there. I'll continue checking. Stabs 3/4, I'll check call. River is a deuce, pairs the board, closes a flush. Continue checking, my 8's checked down good. Table's mostly breaking here right now. I'll look around for more quality players to stick around for a bit longer. Oh, or alternatively could take a break. And actually, yeah, I've been playing for close to 2 hours. I think a break is probably not a bad idea, so I'm just going to shut things down here when the blinds come around. Table 2, open Jack 8 suited middle position, get 3-bet in position. We'll go ahead and fold. Table 4, going to open King Queen in the cutoff. Flop strong top pair, king on Queen Jack 3 rainbow. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet against the big blind. The table shut down. Last hand on table 1, Queen 4 offsuit under the gun. Gonna fold that. Oh, and another one of my wrecks was leaving anyway, so the games really are busting out on me for the moment. That's it for now. Signing off, taking a little break. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy. Thank you for watching.